This podcast is brought to you by Rise Make Life Workout, a health and self-development platform dedicated to helping busy, everyday Kiwis manage their physical health and upskill their mental well-being.
Through sharing relatable and practical content from health practitioners, as well as showcasing interesting stories from interesting people.
For more shows, content, events, and coaching, head to our website, www.rise-workout.com. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwin Solario.
And I'm Shanae Behrman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth and mindset.
Started swimming at the age of 8, won numerous national titles, travelled the world for swimming, and now he is an Olympic New Zealand swimming coach. What you think would be one of Mitch Nairn's biggest wins has been shrouded by disappointment, resentment, anxiety, and anger. And in this episode, you will find out why.
Mitch shares the mental and emotional toll that being a high-performance coach has that many people do not see, and how he's come to accept that balance is the biggest trade-off when it comes to obsession.
One of my biggest takeaways with this episode is Mitch's selflessness towards not only the swimming industry, the sport, but also his athletes, and it's something to be highly admired.
Yes, so be sure to let us know your thoughts once you've had a listen, and make sure you subscribe and follow along at the High Frequency Club on all your favourite audio platforms, as well as Instagram and YouTube.
Enjoy the show.
Actually, I'm a better coach, and I want to take the goal. The goal never changed. It was just the route that it went from athlete to coach. So
yeah. And we'll dive deep into that transition period. But for people who don't know you yet, and I need to get clued up too, bro, because so much time has passed since high school to now. Can you give an introduction on who you are, what you do, your journey to swimming to the Olympics? Just help us understand who we're listening to today.
Yeah, so obviously, born and raised in Taupo. So your family still live there, mum and dad still live there, my sister's still there, funny enough, but she's been doing a bit of travelling around Europe, so she'll probably take off soon. Started swimming, at the age of 8. I think it was, for Taupo Swimming Club. And then I was actually, funny enough, riding motorbikes at the same time. And my old man and his family are huge into motocross, because the motocross track is actually named after my great-grandfather, Digger McEwen. So my dad's side of the family, we're big motorbike fans, and Dad, bought me my first motorbike at 2. It was a Pee Wee 50 Yamaha training wheels, and it was just all like, this is what you're going to do. Fortunately, I was never good at motocross. Always had a fear, especially into the first corner is horrific in a motocross a race. So I didn't, love it. I did it more because my dad loved it, and I enjoyed spending that time with my dad as well, which was pretty cool. But I started swimming when I was young, when I was about 5, and then I moved through into club swimming at about 8, and I made my first, what they called back then, junior nationals or New Zealand juniors, when I was 9, and I won 2 bronze medals, and thought, oh God, I'm actually all right at this. Maybe I should do swimming instead of motocross, because I'd never won anything in motocross. I was always at the back. And then the following year, I won 2 gold medals in national age group. So I was national age group champion, the fastest 10-year-old in the 100 freestyle and the 200 backstroke. So I said to Dad, that's it with motocross.
Sell my bike.
Sell the bike. He was gutted, because like I said, they were his babies, and he loved the sport. But funny enough, he actually got behind the swimming, and that's when you might have remember, he got into Ironman. So at the same time I sort of decided to take my swimming to the next level, he jumped into Ironman New Zealand, and he was like, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it properly. And he did every single morning training with me, and then he was biking ridiculous Ks, he would bike around the lake every Sunday, or he'll bike to Rotorua or bike to Tauranga and back, and he was just doing some crazy mileage, and not only in the pool but running and biking. And that's where I sort of first saw, if you want something bad enough, you can make it happen. He turned around after 2 years and went 9 hours 26 in Ironman New Zealand. I think he was 26 overall, first Taupo person home. And from a guy that had, yes, he had done a bit of swimming when he was younger, but never really biked or ran too much, to turn that sort of performance out in the space of 2 years was pretty incredible and pretty inspiring, I guess. So again, my traits and how I operate now, a lot of that stems from my dad and his work ethic. Very hard worker, has started multiple businesses, has had nightclubs in Taupo, all the way through to now he owns a sheet metal business in Taupo called Lake Steel. So, you know, he's and before even that, he ran a fish and chip shop. That's what he first began with in Taupo. So it's for him, like, he's worked hard, like extremely hard, and we were very lucky to have the lifestyle, you know, that we have always been able to give me everything, mum and dad. So yeah, it's been, you know, a lot of that, and how my dad is why I am, or how I operate today. But yeah, from that, I went to Div 2 Nationals, as you know, through school. I was always away with swimming, or I you know, did my best at school. You know, mum said as long as I pass, and that's good enough. So yeah, and I tried to take my swimming as far as I could through my schooling career. So I won national age group medals, went on a few junior national teams, did that thing there. And look, I wasn't a Lewis Clarebird, but I worked hard. I was a very good trainer, doing some big sessions, balancing that with schoolwork and life and friendships and whatnot. And then when it came to the end of school, I will never forget, and I still remember to this day, Dad says, make sure you want to do something that you love, so that when you get up in the morning, it does not feel like a job. He goes, because if you have that feeling in your life, you will never work a day in your life. So I really took that on board, and like, I love swimming. Like, it's an obsession, and I loved it even when I was, you know, obviously an athlete and training through. So when I sort of finished up school, I was like, coaching would be pretty cool, you know. Like, and so I looked into that journey. Went, you know, found courses at AUT University in sport and rec. So took that up as I finished swimming in Taupo. I took that up, and then obviously went into AUT University. Lived in the village. My training dropped off. Found partying, girls, boys. You know, the whole shebang. So my swimming really did drop off, but I got my first ever job swim coaching masters swimming in Tepa Bars with Hayden Woolley, which was an incredible experience for a 19, 18 year old me to do. You know, telling these 30, 40, 50 year olds how to swim, and, you know, working through technique, telling them off even in trainings was even funny. So I think that really built the foundations of me as a coach, because coaching adults is a lot harder than coaching junior swimmers, because junior kids, as you get them from a young raw age, you know, they're flexible, they're, you know, where an adult sort of had all those sort of developments happen to them, and you're trying to correct a lot of them, or find solutions of, you know, say a swimmer can't kick because they've got stiff ankles, like most adults do, you know, trying to find solutions so that they can kick better and can keep afloat. And so I think that was really good for me, because like I said, it was a lot harder coaching adults, and especially beginner adults, than it is coaching junior swimmers. You know, juniors is just, if they listen and they focus, they'll catch on really quick, and you know, if they, like I said, that focus element, if they're doing the right technique, they'll catch on really quick, where the adults can understand, but again, they just can't get the movement right, so things take a lot more time, and yeah, which was interesting. So.
And did you find the adults had more like preconceived ideas on what their abilities were as well?
Oh, absolutely. You know, but it was pretty rewarding in the sense that, you know, I'd have people come to me that were trying to get into, like, say, like police force, or into, you know, becoming flight attendants, that couldn't swim or had never swum before, and seeing them go from basically sinking to, you know, being able to swim 4 laps of the pool or 5 laps of the pool was incredible. So that was really quite rewarding, and you'd take them right back to the basics, like holding your breath, letting air out, like that stuff on the side of the pool, like you would pull it right back in order for them to you know, become better swimmers, I guess. And it was super rewarding when they finally did get it, and you saw that from your clients as well. They were they were stoked. And I think it's something that as in a country we shy away from massively. A lot of people in New Zealand don't know how to swim. And
You're looking at one. I was going to say, when you're ready for your next project, Marlon's here.
Nah, there's many preconceived ideas here, bro.
Yeah, and it is sad, and we've got one of the worst drowning rates in the world. And we're an island surrounded by water, and we don't know how to swim. I think it's...
Is it not part of the school curriculum here like it is in Australia?
See, that's where I think we're getting things wrong straight away. Because in Australia, you had to move up a year group, if I'm not mistaken. You had to be able to swim 50 metres.
Yeah, every year you do another lesson, like you do your level.
Oh, and have to do.
It's part of school.
Oh. So you don't move up into a year sometimes if you can't pass that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
No, I was allowed to sit out and like completely fail, and the teacher just gave up on me. She was like, "What am I going to do? I'm not going to force shorts."
You'll keep repeating. They want you to get to at least I think it's like level 9 or level 10, which is where you're safe to be swimming by yourself, swim a lap or two.
It is a life skill I've missed out on.
I think that's where where people miss the boat, and then obviously you have kids, and then it's like you don't teach your kids because you don't feel confident around the water. So it's like watch it, and so that's happening through generations and generations. And as we've seen, the drowning rates got worse and worse and worse as things have as the years have gone on. We also schools are removing school pools, because of the costs. So what's the thing if you're having budget cuts and stuff like that, the first thing that normally costs quite a bit of money is a swimming pool to run and operate. So
we're on a pretty bad trajectory in terms of increasing the drowning and ability to swim. Just going back to, bro, when you said I love swimming, there was so much passion in your voice. How has your relationship with swimming transformed over the years since when you started as an 8-year-old to how old are you now?
I'm 31. Just
so
turned 31 last week.
How does that love transform? Because I'm sure it would have felt and looked different at 8 compared to how you are now at 31. That's a long time to stay committed to something.
To a sport. Like I've said, I've had moments through swimming where, not only for myself, it helped shape me again into the human I am today, but also taught me life lessons like goal setting, all of that. I've still take what I've learnt through swimming at a young age through 8 to 18 and use it in everyday life. So I think that's in sport in general for everyone. When you have that sort of commitment level to something that you love, it's just flowing through into my coaching. So like I said, when I get up at 3:30 every morning, it's not a job for me. Like, I'm excited to go to work. Like, I can't wait to get up and help shape these young people's lives in some sort of way, or them reach their dreams within this. If that's within the sport, or from every level. It could be from a junior level, that just want to be able to swim one lap and be able to compete at their school swimming sports, all the way through to your Lewis Clareberts who are winning, world championship gold medals on the world stage.
Yeah. So it sounds like to me, the thing that really gets you up in the morning is the fact that you're contributing and making a positive impact in people's lives. And it just happens to be through the vehicle of swimming.
That's
awesome,
it.
Bro.
Yeah. So no, it's been a fantastic journey, a hard journey. Like again, my lifestyle and the way I live and the way I balance things is abnormal. Like, for me, it is completely an obsession, or it has been for quite some time. I'd probably say about six or 7 years now, which is hard. It puts a strain on you massively mentally and physically. So again, I love it, but I sort of knew, like, if I want to take it to this level and this is what I want to be, I want to be an Olympic coach, I want to have Olympic swimmers, this is what I'm going to have to do in order to be able to get that.
You're super aware of the trade-offs.
Yes, and some of those, especially now, more so than ever, are very, very difficult now that I've got a young family, 2 beautiful girls, aged 3 and one's 21 months old. Being away from those girls and spending time away from those girls, even just through the week, is difficult. Last week we were in Sydney, and I get a phone call from my partner, and she's saying Arabella's breaking down. You're away, you left in the morning, and she doesn't really understand why you're gone or gone again. And hearing that sort of stuff really hits home, like really, really hard, like, because you don't want her to be upset, and you feel like you're upsetting her on purpose because of swimming. And she's not at that age to understand that Daddy's away trying to obviously make money and help Lewis and help the team, reach their dreams and their aspirations. And she's not at that age yet. She just thinks Dad's left us. So it's really quite hard, hearing those things when and you can FaceTime and everything, but it's not quite the same.
When Arabella, that's her name, right, is 20 years old, what do you hope that she would say when she could look back on this? That's something I think about often, is that I just want them, to be proud of what I've done. That's definitely one thing, and know that I did it for them, and I've worked this hard hopefully for them. And through like we spoke about, that through dedication and hard work you can achieve your goals if you want it bad enough. I think just showing that to them will be a huge step in their life. So if they can take something away with that, then I'll be stoked as a dad. Arabella, when you're 20 years old, you'll listen to this episode, and that's why your dad did it. It's awesome, bro. I just want to bring it right back. At what point did you transition? When was the realization where you're like, you know what, maybe competitive swimming isn't for me anymore?
I was in my 20s, and I was still doing a bit of training, a bit of open water swimming and stuff like that. And I was just like, look, like, I had these young guys beating me and stuff like that, and I just was like, this is not gonna happen. Like, as bad as that sounds, I was a good coach. I sort of got an inkling that I was a good coach, so I was like, right, I'm gonna run with this, and this is what I seem to be quite good at. So I put my swimming aside and that ego there aside to be like, right, I'm going to focus on my coaching career. And I wanted to really join in, because at that point I was only coaching masters. I loved competitive swimming. There was just something about it, like I said, people reaching goals that they never thought they'd be able to achieve in the pool was something that I really wanted to give, I guess, as a coach. So that's why I jumped into that competitive side after masters for a couple of years. So that's when it all sort of kicked off, when I was about 22, I think, at the time. Moved over to Melbourne, spent 2 years over in Melbourne with my partner Sophie, and they're swimming mad. Like, it was fantastic. I was in my element. It was a brand new club called Western Aquatics, and basically we started from 30 swimmers, and it got up to like 250 at this one branch that it was going nuts, and I was able to, I had all these ideas, and I was able to run with it and implement it as how I wanted. It was really, really cool. And like I said, over here swimming's hard. When you've got a public facility, they're normally 25 metre pools. Over there everything's 50 metre pools. So like, they will literally go public, you're down that end of the pool, and they'll split the pool, and then your squads and you learn to swim were down the other half of the pool. They were swimming, like, it was just swimming mad. And they really prioritise swimming over there. It was like a national sport, like rugby is here. It's like that over in Australia, and I really love that. But my partner missed her family, of course. So when we decided to come home, I got two really good opportunities at the time. I think I got offered a sort of junior coaching role at Melbourne Vic Centre, which was one of the biggest clubs in Melbourne. And then there was a job at Pukekohe Swimming Club, which was my first New Zealand swimming club. I decided to take that job. I saw a lot of potential in some of their swimmers that they had there. I basically, we came home after 2 years, and I took up that role. We were living in Parnell. I was travelling out to Pukekohe.
Jesus.
Every day. That's a road trip.
Every day, twice a day. Every day, twice a day. So I'd be out at Pukekohe at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'd be coming back at about 11:30, and then I'd be going back out at about 2:30, and then coming back at about 8 o'clock at night. It was a lot of driving, but like I said, I loved it. And the swimmers, the group were incredible. It was the really supportive club, fantastic club president and committee that just wanted to see the club grow and excel. And And we did exactly that. We got multiple swimmers on New Zealand teams, broke New Zealand records. You know, it was incredible.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And it was all the way out in Pukekohe in this small 25-metre pool that we were doing all this, and we were really showing the rest of New Zealand that, like, doesn't matter where you train, and you know, anyone can do it. Like, it was really quite it was a phenomenal time, and I think I was there, it would have been 4 or 5 years building that up, and you know, we won national championships, got a couple of close seconds in regards to that, and like I said, like this club was sort of sitting around 8th or 9th best in New Zealand, to being all the way up the top there and having some of the fastest swimmers in the country.
Wow.
You know, in that time, you know, Commonwealth Games champion, you know, World Junior swimmers, like it was fantastic. So that really, I guess, you know, set me up, and I'm so grateful for what they were they were able to do to me, and how supportive they were of not only my dreams but the swimmers and you know, the group as itself. But like I said, I saw some of the best moments came from swimmers that weren't quite at that, you know, high performance level, like we might have talked about. You know, they were sort of around what we call Division 2 swimmers, you know, trying to make it into national age groups. You know, they were just trying to, you know, make that next level. You know, I've had kids gone from winning Div 2 to winning medals at NAGs, and some of those moments were the best ever. You know, you know, they weren't the most talented swimmers, but they put everything into their training for large periods of time. And when you saw that moment when it paid off in their eyes, and how happy they were, like, those were some of the coolest moments, when they just never thought they were ever going to achieve, say, grab a national medal, or and when they achieved it, it was like, it was so cool. So we had plenty of moments like that there, which were quite special as well.
I was going to say, what do you think it is that you obviously saw potential in, like you said, a lot of those swimmers?
Yeah.
What do you think it was in, I guess, your coaching style or the culture there, that you were able to bring them from being like a Div 2 swimmer, or a swimmer that's doing okay, to number, like, is it the self-belief or the training?
I think it's more like I think they saw the belief that I had in them, and then they started to believe in themselves more. But not only that, it's also the people who you surround yourself with. Like, if you have a fantastic group that want you know, to move to that next level as well, they're trying to upraise you all the time, or hold you accountable all the time in the pool. And like we spoke about, the amount of times you're having to train a week, it's, you know, it's hard to stay up all the time. But when you've got good people around you that say, hey, come on, Marwan, like, you know, do these last 2 reps, absolute max speed, you've got this. Like, even just those little comments mean the world, or could, you know, shape that swimmer in the pool in that moment in time. And again, we've got a lot of those athletes within the group. So we really thrived around swimming as a team. As much as it's an individual sport, we're a team, and we operate as a team. And I think that's what sort of separated us apart from other teams and other clubs, is that we all had each other's back, like, and we all wanted the best for each other. You know, everyone wanted everyone to succeed.
So that's in the front of your mind when constructing not only just management, but also the athletes and the team, the importance of an environment that uplifts each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I try my best, you know, to draw that out even nowadays. But we're now at a stage through our high performance group that we've got swimmers needing different things, you know, that are sprinters or middle distance swimmers, and you need to prescribe different. So that's gotten a little bit harder, because back then it was sort of like, right, everyone's doing the same stuff, this is how we're doing it, like everyone was in it all together, you know. We've still got that element, but at times it's a little bit harder, because there's different groups, different sets happening, you're having to specialise in different areas. Again, you know, one athlete might be managing a recovery session to another athlete might need to be working hard. So it's changed in that retrospect. but yeah, a lot of that stems from, the college system over in America. Like, they're very team orientated with everything that they do. And obviously swimming being quite big over there, like the way everything, like your team only wins a championship if all your swimmers perform. So you, again, like I said, you want everyone to succeed. You want everyone to do well. So everyone raises the bar and holds your teammates accountable on every single session. And where we don't do that in New Zealand, which I think, it's something that we should maybe look forward and go, hey, look, this could be quite a cool model to motivate clubs in New Zealand. And they normally pick their 10 best swimmers that score points, and then, they go from there. So it definitely helps that team aspect, and it draws the most, I think, out of swimmers. So
Club 37 is your team, right?
Yes, Club 37.
If someone was on the outside looking in, how would they describe the culture at Club 37?
Very passionate. Very, like, in terms of what we do and how we operate, we're very passionate in what we do.
I saw this this News Hub article, and Laws was saying, I've never heard anyone while I'm swimming more than Mitch, because there's so much passion that it's coming through while he's swimming, and you can't hear shit in the water.
No, I know, and that's the thing. Like, I try and bring in what I want my athletes to put in every single session and every single day. So I feel like if I'm trying to draw that out from them every single day, or vice versa, they draw that out of me. Like, again, like, we're going to be successful. And like I said, already they're good friends. They all have each other's back. They all want, so, me being that little bit more just adds that little bit extra to the vibe and the group and how they're operating on that session or on that day. But like, again, we're always on pool deck. We're always cheering. We're always supporting each other. I think, again, as a country, we shy away from that sort of stuff quite a lot compared to the Americans and whatnot. But why not? Like, be proud of what your group and your teammates are achieving. Not only day-to-day life and training, but then in competition as well. Why can't it be in training as well? Why can't we celebrate those successes? You've hit those pace times today. You've done a time trial and you've swum faster than ever before. Why can't we celebrate that in training as well as racing?
It's a bit of that tall poppy syndrome, eh?
Yes, very much so.
I want to go back to when you transitioned from being a competitive swimmer to then saying, you know what, I'm finished here. A lot of people, especially on social media, rock on about consistency and keeping going and pushing through. But I think what's also important is the art of quitting, of knowing when it's time to actually drop something because it's no longer serving you. What advice could you give to someone who's going through that transition period, who's a little bit confused on should I quit? Should I move on? Is it time to move on? Or do I keep going? Like, what were your signs or signals that told you, you know what, this doesn't feel right anymore?
Like I said, I think it's really important as high performance athletes, they get caught up in just swimming. I think it's good to try and find something outside of swimming that you're also passionate or just as passionate about. And then if it, whether that be a course or study or whether that be, another sport, or I think we get too caught up in that, and that's why that transition is so difficult for a lot of people, because they almost don't have a plan B in mind, I guess, or something else that they could turn to or look forward to. So to be honest, I don't really have a plan B as a coach. Like, if someone told me I can't coach swimming tomorrow, God knows, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably do insurance or something like that. I have no idea. I've got the gift of the gab, so I'll probably turn to something like that. But I think it's important that you want to work towards something off the back of making that decision. If and not to be afraid. Like, it's going to be something new. You're going to probably be starting something over again. But you did that with swimming. And look where it took you, It takes you some amazing places, or it has taken you to some amazing places. Why not do that with the next journey of your career, of your life, I guess. And take it back to my dad. Find something you love. that you enjoy doing or enjoy studying, and that will just make that whole process, I think, a little bit easier moving forward. But you don't have to give it up fully, and I think that's something I regret. And it's hard for a swimmer, and when you reach a certain level, the water's never going to feel the same as what it did when you were training so often. And it's one thing that I regret. Like, I don't jump in the pool for fitness. I don't again. I've done it so many meters, so many kilometers, so many hard yards in the pool. Like, it sort of puts me off a little. I know how grueling it is, and I would rather go and run 5Ks or jump on the roller and blast out a 10K row. Which is a shame, because I love the sport so much. But I can't even now bring myself to jump in the pool and do it for exercise. But I don't know if that's just because I'm still around it so often, and it's all I think about so often. I just find other forms of exercise, when I do get the chance, I enjoy that more than I would swim.
Me on a very micro scale. I'm obviously not fucking high performance or anything. I'm the same with strength training, bro. It is the exercise that I struggle to show up for the most. But boxing, running, cycling, love it. Love it.
So I've just had one of my high performance swimmers. I mean, he just missed out on the Olympics, but we've formulated a plan. Look, he's got a great job doing a little bit of coaching and teaching. He's still training 7 times a week, so which is perfect. But he's also just started jiu-jitsu. Very interested in MMA and that side of things, and jiu-jitsu's a little bit less hands-on, I get. Not as violent, but he said,
striking. I get you.
He just said he wanted to go back to something that he had to relearn for a new stimulus to keep him engaged, and he's loving it. He's still working hard in the pool. He biked 110 k's on the watt bike in the evenings, and then doing 2 to 3 jiu-jitsu sessions a week. He's loving it. Just that little bit of a switch up has been a little bit more of a refresher for him. And obviously he's working and stuff, but he wants to see how where that takes him with his swimming. And look, he's got the opportunity to make short course world champs at the end of the year, and if it does, then he can pick things up. But for the time being, I think he's for his lifestyle, and we've just come off in Olympic trials, not making the Olympics. I think that's to still keep in the sport and have a new stimulus to learn something new. I think that's fantastic. And he came to me with that plan, and it's right, you've got that's wicked. Let's do it, and let's see what happens. And hey, who knows? He might end up swimming faster. You don't know. And so I think it's great if you've got. It's just working out that plan, what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how you're going to move forward.
Well, it's similar to our chat with Julia Ratcliffe. We asked how her retirement was, and she said she felt it wasn't too bad. She's like, I never identified as a hammer thrower. She's like, I identified as a strong woman. So I stopped hammer throwing, and I was like, I think I'm going to give rugby a go. And I think I'm going to start doing this at the gym. Or she just said, she just went straight into what else would allow me to be a strong woman. I can still train hard in the gym. I can still, now I can learn rugby. But like she said, a lot of people are linked up into, I am a swimming athlete. I'm a 200 meters, butterfly. And that's what, therefore, when they're no longer doing it, it's like, well, what am I then? If I'm not a 200 meter butterfly swimmer. So trying to link your identity more to those traits that you might, like you said, it might just be like I'm an athlete, or I like to be strong, active, fit.
Something intangible.
Something that you could do elsewhere.
Internal. Have you ever thought of, has there ever been moments where you're like, I think I'm done?
Doesn't sound like it.
No. In all honesty, like I said, and I was thinking this in the car ride over, and I was actually, funny enough, speaking it to my mum the other night on the phone. There was a little bit of a reel that I saw, and it's like, you thinking about the things like when I first started my coaching career, what would have made me happy or satisfied to the level that I've reached, and it's crazy when you think about what I thought back then to what I've got now. It's like, whoa. Like, I would have just been happy to be coaching at a club and having, a national age group medalist, let alone a world champion, going to the Olympic Games, a Commonwealth champion, like multiple. I think I've got in my car, I've got like 60 New Zealand records for certificates packed in my. I would have just been happy with one if I had one swimmer do that, let alone 60. It's just like, and I think sometimes we do get caught up in going, what's next? Like you achieve, it's like, what's next? And again, like, and I'll it's funny because that's how swimming operates, and I'll use Lewis as an example. You win a world championship gold medalist, but you've got an Olympics this year. So like, it's what's next. It's always what's next. And I think we lose sight in trying to enjoy the moment and reflect on the moment and go, wow, like that's something I've always dreamed of, or always wanted, and I've achieved that, and actually take a moment to, enjoy it. I think a lot of sports people, shy away from that a little bit because they're always looking at what do I need to do next, or what needs to happen next. I'm very big on my athletes, like normally when we finish a national competition, that they have a blowout. Because and like when I say a blowout, like these guys know how to party, like, because they're not doing it for like up to periods of like 6 months or more, or more. It's like, and that's a big part of their life, that social part of their life that they're missing out on and whatnot. So it's some coaches are like, no, you can't do that, you can't be doing that after. It's like, well, sometimes they just need, like, especially the guys, like they just want to go out with the guys and have a great time, and mostly the girls as well. But it's like, that's an important element, of life, and that and having that fun and those experiences. It's like you gotta, if you are successful or even not successful, you've still got to have those enjoyable moments. And like I said, these guys know how to party, and they do it pretty bloody. It's either all in or all out. It's like two different direction
Mitch,
options.
bro, you're going to the Olympics, G.
Yeah.
First one.
Wow. Yeah. So
talk to us the process of becoming an Olympic coach. How did this all happen?
So normally, again, like I said, I've got a group of high performing athletes. So we're sort of there's a couple of clubs that are sort of have been in that sort of high performance targeted pathway program. I've been to multiple world championships since COVID's finished. I've been to 222, 223, 224, so 3 world championships back to back because they're playing catch up with COVID. And then obviously, so we've sort of had a high performance team that's been gelled together from or since that moment, building all the way through into this obviously Paris Olympic Games. So obviously you need a swimmer or swimmers to qualify on the Olympic team, and then obviously you then get the opportunity, they'll invite you, or the NZOC will approve you to go. Normally I think it's a little bit based around who has the highest ranked swimmer that the coaches will go, because it depends on numbers as well, for staffing and stuff. So obviously, because Lewis, there's 2 world champions in swimming right now, and Lewis Clareburt and Erica Fairweather. That's why I got given the opportunity, and then so that's how it sort of moved from there. As soon as
when you got the call up, or I don't know how it goes, or whether it's in competition, you realise, like, how did that feel? Describe that moment for me.
Honestly, I was already thinking about the games by that point. It was sort of deep down. I think I always knew. Like again, before Lewis came, I had Andrew Jeffcoat, who is the 50 back Commonwealth Games gold medalist and New Zealand record holder, and he had been under the Olympic time multiple times as well. And unfortunately, he just missed the Olympic Games this year after being under the time so often. Which was, as a coach, I was a bit broken by, because I've had Andrew for a very long time. And obviously it's been one of our dreams that we've had together. So that whole moment itself was quite emotional. But again, because Lewis was already swimming so quick and he made the qualifying time in Doha and was a world champion, from that point on, it was sort of like, right, we've got to try and work towards the Olympic Games and putting out the best performance that we can. So
you felt it was just a matter of time until
absolutely. Like we've got quite a special group, and we've got multiple swimmers that could have gone to the Olympic Games. So yeah, like I just never had any doubt that but again, even if I didn't go, like my priority is to get swimmers on the Olympic team. Like if they turn around and said, "Hey Mitch, you couldn't go, but you've got so and so or 3 or 4 athletes going," I'd be so happy.
Also, even one of your swimmers could still go to the Olympics.
Absolutely.
But you also individually got chosen.
Yeah.
So how did that feel?
Again, still, it wasn't pleasant at the time because I had some swimmers that should have been and missed out on qualifying. At that moment there itself sort of took away from, I guess, the moment that, I did get selected and chosen. Like I said, Andrew Jeffcoat, I got Carter Swift, Zach Dow, I've got multiple swimmers on my fingers, Josh Gilbert, that missed the qualifying time because you only got one shot for those guys that missed it. It was that, to put it simple, it was heartbreaking. It was probably felt worse than breaking up with a girlfriend. It's probably the best way to describe it because I'm spending so much time with those guys, putting so much effort, and they're putting out so much effort on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, training upwards of 25 hours a week, it's been almost 8 years. Like it was a heartbreaking moment. Like as much as it's like, hey, yeah, that's cool that I've done that, my mind's on, again, like I said, I'm just upset. I wish I could have these guys on the team. And, we swam some incredible swims that week, and our relay team went the 7th fastest time in the world as a club. So not as a country, as a club. We swam the 7th fastest time in the world, which if we were allowed to swim that relay at the Doha World Champs, we would have qualified the team for the Olympic Games. But because we didn't swim at Doha World Champs in the 4x100 free, our swimmers, they couldn't, off that time that they swam at Nationals, they couldn't go to the Olympic Games. So
how are you dealing with it?
Yeah, again, I was talking a bit about this with my partner the other night. Like, I've had a few, sleepless. I still feel anxious. I don't know, it's it's an anxious feeling that, like I said, I've let people down, and it's hard to wrap my head around because I know it's up to them on the day when they get behind the blocks, and I've done everything I can possibly do. You still, after all that time and all those hours, I'm still seeing what went wrong, what could we have done better. It's a horrible feeling, and I don't quite know how to shake it at the moment. I'll work it out. I know I will work it out. But part of that, I think, process is hearing these athletes that do want to continue swimming and do have a plan, even if it's not in the water as much as that they were, that they're still wanting to still swim, they're still wanting to still race, they're, choosing a career path as well at the same time. I think that gives me a little bit more peace of mind. It makes me feel a little bit happier, but like I said, I still feel horribly anxious and it's a stink feeling, but I'll work it out. I'll work it out in my head, I think.
I think that's a great mark of a true coach, to be able to be selfless and take 100% responsibility for something you have no business taking 100% responsibility over. But it's a marker of your heart, bro. And the fact that you truly care. For me, when a client leaves, even if they go to a different part of Auckland and they have to drive so much, in my mind I'm like, no, that can't be it. There must have been something that I have done, and where can I improve? And I take that shit real personally.
And like I said, the healing, that side of things, I'll work it out for myself in my head. But at this moment in time, I feel, I've got one swimmer going to the Olympic Games. I should have had three, 4 swimmers, because they're more than capable, and they've proven that. I guess that's the other hard thing to swallow, is that these guys have put in Olympic worthy performances that would have, for most countries, qualify for the Olympic Games. So it's really that side really, really hurts, I guess, I think, at the same time. But like I said, hearing these guys and what they're doing and how they're going about it, makes me feel a little bit better, and as a coach and what we've done, and hopefully we can build off that, and we might have hopefully some more success towards the end of the year or moving forward.
What do you think? You've obviously alluded to it already, but what is the hardest part of being a coach that people don't know? What's behind the scenes?
Yeah, political stuff's always very hard. Very, very, very hard. Yeah.
Can't be saying that.
But it's true, but then, like I said, on top of that, like just you're managing these athletes, and not only it's quite cool. You're managing and running a swimming club at the same time. You've got these high performance swimmers and these swimmers' needs and how they operate and what they need sets and season plans, and like. Again, like from the outside, it's like, oh, it looks like he's really enjoying something. Like, that must be an awesome job. Like how, but like my partner will tell you, she thinks I'm friggin' mad, like crazy. Like there's a lot of hours that go on behind the scenes that not only parents and people and athletes don't often see for things to be or try to be successful. So. Again, I'm very lucky. I've got a really cool group of swimmers that understand, what I do and how hard I work, which is quite nice. They're very sympathetic if something goes wrong, but it's intense. And I can tell you a story now. So recently, I've just had a hernia operation. I've been waiting 2 years to get this done. It was starting to cause me a bit of pain. Couldn't lift up my girls and stuff like that. There was moments on the the boys would tell you I'll be on the training ground on the pool deck pushing my hernia back in, like it was in my belly button, pushing it back in because it had popped out and I'd be in excruciating pain. So I finally got my chance because I had to go through the public system because it was going to cost like 12 grand if I wanted to do it privately. It was mental. So I had waited 2 years and I finally got the opportunity, which was in March before the Olympic Games. Now it was about a month out and I thought, right, that's I can handle this. I can juggle this around, and it won't be too bad. And so that was sweet. So I went in and I got the operation done, but obviously still under the pump. Keeping in mind that we're 4 weeks out from Olympic trials. This is their biggest swim meet of their life, and we've got to try and put these guys on an Olympic Games team. And I got the operation done. It was funny. I woke up and I had a bit of an issue waking up under the anaesthetic, but I ended up coming to. They got me to come to and stuff like that. And the first thing I said, it was funny. My partner rang the hospital. Well, the hospital, rang my partner to say you can come and get him now, and she was asking about how long until I can get back into work and be on pool deck and stuff, and they're going, normally 12 to 15 days, it can take a few, and I remember like I was a bit out of it, yelling out across the hospital room, I'm back at work tomorrow morning. And apparently I can slightly remember it, and the boys will have a laugh, but I messaged a group chat, and we've got a group chat with the boys in it, saying to Zach, one of my swimmers who lives down the road from me, pick me up for training in the morning. This was literally, I've just got out of the operating theatre, like pick me up, I'll be at work in the morning.
Yeah. Still high on the drugs.
He was the second person I met, but I was just like, I need to get back on pool deck. And I remember I got up that morning on Saturday morning, because the operation was on Friday, and I got up for training, and my partner said, if you get up and go to work, I'll punch you in the stomach. She goes, sit back down. Like,
you went to actually go.
Yeah, I went to actually go. And so I didn't work that weekend, but I was back at work on Monday, like and like full steam, boom, like I'm back into it, like no issues.
3 day
Here's my stomach, yeah, 3 day turnaround. Here's my stomach, I'm good, let's go. I had like a 13 centimeter cut on my stomach, and a couple of weeks went by, 2 weeks, and it got infected. I was resubmitted back in the hospital on Easter weekend. So this is like literally, we're only talking like a week out from nationals now. So in Thursday morning, I was leaking, it might sound disgusting, pus through the wound. And so I got submitted back in the hospital on that Thursday. They had to reoperate to drain the pus out. So they had to drain the pus out. And then obviously they didn't stitch it back up. They let it healed from the inside out, so they obviously did what they had to do there, but I didn't end up getting into the theatre till Friday. I was asking them, can I get out? Like, can I get out? Can I go to coaching? Can I please go and coach? And then I'll come back in. Like, can I be? And no, like, we don't advise that. Like, I think you should stay in. It could end up being worse and so forth. And anyway, I got the operation done on that Friday night. And then I came out of hospital. I didn't work the Saturday again, but again, I was back at work on Monday.
Fine.
Like, it was just like, that's how much, like, trying to get these guys on this team and how much not only I wanted it for them but vice versa, like, yeah, that's how much it meant to me. And I didn't want to feel like I was letting them down in any way. Looking back on that, friggin' mad. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, and the stress that it might have put on my family and my partner especially, because I had suffered a couple previous years from blood clots. I got blood clots in my right lung, which we don't know how they formed, and I got rushed to hospital during the COVID period. So, my partner's all very aware, that things could start happening, or, or blood poisoning and stuff like that. So looking back on it, like, I think I was mad, but I don't have any regrets. I think, like, in terms of I did everything that I could possibly do, but like some of that still runs through my head, like, as a what if, like, if I was there those 2 sessions. And some people say, hey, those 2 sessions don't matter, or 3 sessions don't matter, but I know they do. I know I know they do.
If you're a parent listening to this is who your kids are working with, and show the man more gratitude. It's very apparent and obvious the amount of hard work you put into the boys and into swimming. You've mentioned a couple of times now the strain that it does have on, like, your mental and emotional health, as well as your family dynamics. How does Mitch Nairn achieve balance, and what does that look like for you? How do you, like, recharge to make sure that you show up with the passion that you have?
I don't have balance. So that's plain and simple. Like, and you talk to any sort of high performance coach, or I think athlete, and if with these large goals that we're trying, or we have set together, or I have set, I think balance, you can't be balanced. You're obsessed. So I know the lifestyle that I live is not attainable for a long time, and I'm already starting to work out ways how I can make my life easier, so that I can spend more time with the family and be be there for my girls and be there for my partner. And I've started thinking about that process in my head and how that's going to work. But at the moment, like, there's one thing on my mind, and I think, like you said, the Olympic Games, but there is something more on the line than that, and that's what we're trying to work towards and what we're trying to chase. So I balance at the moment, and balance for the last probably 10 or so years hasn't been a part of my lifestyle. I've given, when my mates went overseas to Europe and stuff, in my head it was like, I'm going to do all that for free through work. Like, I'll get to see the world. I'll be able to. I've been to some incredible places. I've been to Italy and Napoli. I've been to Budapest. I've been to Mallorca. I've been Austria. Like, I've done some amazing things but I knew that if I was working hard and committed, and I would reap those rewards later on. I never second guessed that. So to be able to do it through something that I love doing as well is pretty phenomenal. But balance is just not part of my life at the moment. Like I said, I get up at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm going through session plans. I'm planning out how the day is going to operate, or how the session's going to operate. I go into work, I coach my age group squad, and then I drive from Mount Albert through to AUT to coach my high performance athletes, and then after that I'm either doing meetings, or speaking to High Performance Sporting Z strength and conditioning coaches, physio, like all of that. And then I get to go home. I'm very lucky I can spend a couple of hours with my girls during the day, which is really, really nice, and I really do try and make the most of. But even through that period, I'm getting phone calls or emails, and I'm trying to make more of a conscious effort not to be sitting there on my phone, to switch it off and to actually be present with my girls. And then again, like I said, back at Mount Albert from 3 till 8:30 at night. By the time I get home, it's close to 9. So I know what I do as an entertainer, and that's not even including the swim meets or the overseas trips. Like, I know what I do is not attainable. It's attainable for now, but long term, I will have to cool it down, and I've found solutions and ways that,
to keep it up.
To keep it up, to keep it up. Like, like, again, your batteries do get flat, but I just make the most on a Saturday and get going. But like I said, I don't feel like I work a day in my life. Like, I work my dream job, which I think is really, really cool. Like,
so, you're a bit driven by gratitude of where you're currently at too.
Yeah. So, like, I'm just trying to make the most of this, this opportunity that I've been given. And, I'm only 31, and I look, it's some coaches work their whole lives, like, to their 60, to their 70, and still may not achieve what I've achieved within the sport. And I'm so grateful, not only for the opportunities that I've been given, but also the athletes and that I've been able to work with, and how hard working those athletes are.
If you could speak to Mitch Nairn 10 years from now, he's turned 41, what would you say or ask him?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah. I honestly, I struggle because I can't even see. Like, I know what I want in maybe a year or two time, but thinking back, if 40-year-old Mitch was sitting, I think he would just be happy for what he's done, and I hope he's just enjoying what he's accomplished and what he's still doing at the time, and making the most of his family. Like, honestly, like that's my next thing. Like I said, I just want to spend more time and be as present as possible with my girls. I hate missing moments with them. I hate missing firsts, and I've missed a few of those things, and like, just to be able to be sharing more moments, family holidays, not going on a holiday, wouldn't call it a holiday because I'm still at work, but not going overseas for work, going overseas with my girls. And I think, I hope 40-year-old Mitch looks back at 30 and say, hey, look, you've had an incredible career, and you've done it in such a short space of time, but just make sure you enjoy those small things with your family, and make the most of it, I think, of those opportunities that you do get. So
that's great, because my next question was, what do you think 40-year-old Mitch would talk? And that's exactly
that's exactly
be present, make the most of your current moments. Awesome, bro. Hey, if you had a magic wand and you could change the high performance sports industry, what would you do with that magic wand? How would you change it?
This is such a great question, and again, it's something that I've been harping on in the last couple of weeks, actually with high performance. And we've got what we call fringe athletes, like you got fringe players and stuff like that don't get much support, or they have achieved some. Like I said, I've got a couple of swimmers that, if they were in another country, they would have made the Olympic Games. So I've been really big on, like, if I could wave a magic wand, how can I keep those swimmers motivated and keep them striving or pushing towards their goals? Because most of them they're only 24, 25. They're just becoming proper men. Like, they're in their prime. It's like, how can I keep those, how can we keep those swimmers going? What's the plan moving forward? What are we going to do for these athletes? And I think if I could wave a magic wand around, those fringe players and be able to support them in a way that keeps them moving forward in the sport and keep them wanting to do the sport. Like, it's not through want, that's probably the wrong word, because they do want to do the sport. It's just not financially, viable. Living costs in Auckland are skyrocketed. Like, they've got to pay for rent, they've got to work part-time jobs. Like, that's all, on top of almost 30 hours of training a week. Like, that's unsustainable. And when you're needing results to get funding, or even more funding or support, you're coming up against an Australian swimmer who might be the same level as you, but they're getting 50 grand a year. And they're not having to work part-time. They're not having to worry about rent. They get given a car. Like, it's like, how are we supposed to compete with that? So I think if I can wave that wand, it's around our fringe players. I call them fringe players because they've either made it or they're capable of making it, but how do we get them across the line?
Couple more questions before we finish, bro. If people want to support you and follow you, where can they find you?
Yeah, just Coach Mitch is my Instagram, so hit that up, or Club 37 obviously is our club Instagram account. My business partner does some wicked, unreal content. I don't know if you've seen it.
It's really good.
Yeah,
really
he does some pretty cool stuff, and obviously all our website and information's all on there as well. So you probably don't want to follow my personal account. That's just photos of my kids. Some of my swimmers are like, we don't need to see that. It's like, oh, okay. It's just me being really a proud dad, basically. I'm a real proud girl dad. Yeah. So honestly, Coach Mitch, and you can see the journey that we're going on, and Club 37 of what we're doing on a day-to-day with the guys. We've got some exciting stuff coming up. We're hopefully going to bring out an app, so it's a little bit easier for our members and users to use. And yeah, we got some cool stuff going on. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you have something?
Are the girls swimming? Your two little girls.
Now, funny story about that. Like
kiddies swimming lessons.
I'm needing to enrol them. My girls, my partner's mum, they've got a lifestyle block in Cambridge. They've got a pool, and my oldest Arabella, she loves the water. Like she's very knowing, I guess what you could call it. She's and she's a little bit reserved, which is nice. She's not shy. She's just a little bit reserved, and she likes to know her surroundings. But when she's in the water, she's like a different person. Like she's it's very cool. And
Olympic swimmer. There.
No, honestly, if any young swimmer, just enjoy the water. Like that's the first step, and just have fun.
Yeah, not be scared of the water.
And just have fun. Like, and I still tell that to my age group swimmers. Like, yes, we're working hard, but have fun on this journey, because that will keep it going through 18. So for her, I just want her to enjoy being in the water. My 21-month, she's full noise out of the water. When she's in the water, she's a little baby. She's not like Mimi. She's not like Arabella. So I'm just teaching them life skills. This pool's 2 meters deep, and I've got this 3-year-old girl monkey climbing around the edge, back floating. Like she loves it. So it's again, as long as they're doing those sort of little life skills, and I will put them in swimming. I'm just trying to find the time when to do that. Then it'll be I'll tick away at that. But we've been doing gymnastics and stuff as well, which is quite cool.
Very cool.
Just need to get consistent with it.
Last one, bro. If you could speak to Mitch not too long ago, where his athletes didn't make the Olympic team, what would you tell him?
I guess just look back at what you've done and what you've achieved, and just be proud. Like, there's no more, don't worry about the pressures. Just enjoy the ride and what that pans out to be and what that looks like. I get caught up, I guess, these are high pressured and stressful moments, I guess. And I think for me, just enjoying it a little bit more would be just enjoy it.
Olympic coach Mitch Nairn, everybody.